This conference will now be recorded.
So, Krishna, in our demo class, we have seen about the RPA overview we have seen. So, as a continuation of our course, like we will today, we are going to start with the introduction of UiPath itself. So, we know UiPath is the company, Romanian-based company, and that is the leading in the RPA market. Actually, leading company in the RPA market. The UiPath provides UiPath Studio. That is the main their RPA tool, UiPath Studio, and that has all the business. I mean, all the capabilities of RPA automation capabilities, right? So that it is better than Automation Anywhere and Blue Prism because it has rich UI and it has many benefits than this one, Automation Anywhere and Blue Prism. So so that's the reason even in business perspective also any companies can start using UiPath. So starting from medium level companies, I mean small scale industries, medium level companies, software industries, any companies can use UiPath to develop, to automate their business processes. That is the main thing about UiPath. So today we are going to start with the components. What are the components involved in UiPath, and how each component works, and the installation, everything we are going to see. So let's start with the date actually. So what we are going to see is introduction of UiPath. When we say introduction in UiPath, we are going to see UiPath architecture. UiPath architecture. So UiPath has three components basically. One is UiPath Studio. Another one is UiPath Robo, where we call that as the assistant. This is basically UiPath Robo. We can say UiPath Assistant, UiPath Robo basically. Third one is Orchestrator. So these three components is basically the UiPath Studio. UiPath Studio itself is the client. We can say development client actually. So what is the development client? Like if we want to do the Java program, we need to have a particular IDE. For example, Eclipse and IntelliJ IDEA, like that we will have in the IDE. Like that, if we want to work with the UiPath automation workflow, if we want to develop, we need to have the IDE. So that is what the UiPath Studio. We call that as the development client. So once if we install UiPath, this UiPath Studio will get installed. UiPath Assistant component will get installed, and the UiPath Orchestrator is basically, it's not part of these two components. It's a separate web-based web portal. It is so centralized web portal, centralized web portal. So this is where even when we develop our automation workflows using this UiPath Studio, finally what we will do is we will package it, our bot we will package it and deploy into Orchestrator. So Orchestrator is the place where we will maintain all the bots. it is the place where we will maintain all the bots. It is the place where we will maintain all the deployed bots. So how we are going to deploy and everything, how we are going to configure everything, we are going to see in a separate chapter. In depth, we are going to see. Apart from that, orchestrator is having much functionalities. All that we are going to see. So what all orchestrator has is like robo configuration. Robo configuration is basically, suppose if you have developed some 100 bots, all that 100 bots you cannot keep in your local system itself. You cannot keep it. What you will do? Each, suppose if you are working in a company, that company will provide orchestrator URL. So enterprise level, they will have the orchestrator URL and they will have your user created in orchestrator, so that what you can do is you can commit, like you can create the package for your 100 bots and deploy them into you log into your orchestrator account and then deploy them into orchestrator component. So this is during the development you will use this UiPath Studio, and this will also indirectly will be used actually, and orchestrator where you will maintain all the bots. Like you, there may be n number of developers. Everybody will have their user account created in orchestrator, and they deploy their bots into orchestrator. So once if we deploy the bots into the orchestrator, uh, after that we will do the configuration. Like configuration means um, your 100 bots in which machine you want to run. So that machine can be virtual machine, VMs. So that VMs also, the company will have many VMs, right? So if you want to run all these 100 bots in different VMs, all those VMs you need to configure by giving that IP address and that machine name. All that VM's machine name you need to give in the orchestrator, and you need to make the configuration. It's a kind of mapping, so it's a kind of configuration. So these particular 5 bots in which VM you want to run, so that VM we need to specify and we need to configure. So that is what orchestrator configuration. So all that we will study. Yeah, this is just overview that we will study in a separate topic actually. So robo config, that is what we say here as the robo configuration. In which robo you want to run? Robo means yeah, any VM. The bot means the workflow what you develop, that is bot. Robo means the machine, which in which machine you want to run it, that is robo configuration. We can say machine or VM configuration. And then we have like assets, maintaining global assets. And then assets is nothing but basically the variables, global variables. So in normally if you have studied any other languages and languages and all, you must have heard about kind of global variables. So sometimes what happens is, when you develop that 100 bots in your development client, you will be running, you will be opening the UiPath client and you will be running each component, you will be running. But once it is deployed to the orchestrator, you need to provide data also. Sometimes you need to provide data. That data you need to keep as the global data. So there you will define your global assets. So it's nothing but you define global variables so that the data will be taken from the orchestrator itself. You need not to maintain individually. So just keep all the data in the orchestrator so that it is common, it is global, so that whatever the bot you develop, that bots, those bots will pick the data from the orchestrator global variables. For example, you can keep login credentials in global assets. Apart from that, if you have any global data, you can have it. Everything you can have it in the orchestrator itself. After that, we have something called credential store. The credential store is basically to keep your login username and password. Login credentials basically. Login credentials, because the login credential password is the security enabled, right? You cannot keep your password directly in any Excel sheet, so it's not secure. So what they will do, they will pass the login credentials from the orchestrator credential store. We have credentials in orchestrator, yeah, that comes under assets only, where we will have our login name and the password. Password is you cannot see the password, you can mask it actually. So when you type the password also, you will see only star star star, right? So these benefits and all, it comes from the orchestrator only. Apart from that, we have um, creating the jobs. Creating the jobs, suppose if you have 100 bots, for each bot you want to run at any particular time, for each bot you can create one job actually. So whenever you want to run your process, you need not to open UiPath Studio. You can directly log into the orchestrator and run that job, so that whatever the in that job we will configure what bot to run, so those bots will run actually. So creating the jobs, all that will be maintained here. And then we have something called work queues. I mean, the queue management. So the queues is basically, suppose if your bot need huge amount of data, it deals with a huge amount of data. That huge amount of data, you need not to keep it in the Excel sheet, because each and every time it is taking from the Excel sheet, it is not a good idea. Suppose his power goes off or any interruption happens, there won't be any status maintained. Suppose if you directly take record by record from the Excel sheet, there won't be any tracking mechanism maintained. Suppose just in a minute, right, you read all the data from the Excel sheet and keep it in the queue, so that whenever the data comes into all the data, maybe 10,000 rows, whatever it is, once if it comes into queues, there will be different status applied, right? Initially it will come as new, and then when we pick from the queue and work on that data, then it will become open, and then in progress, and then finally if you are done your work with that data, then it will be completed. So like that you can take one by one from the queue and you can process. Suppose if any power goes off and your bot stops, then also need not to worry about, because whatever the completed, it will be as completed. Whatever the remaining new, it will be as new. So you can the next time when you run your bot, it will pick the remaining rows from the queues. So these are all the benefits. All this we can do, we can maintain in the orchestrator only. So that is the power of orchestrator actually. Queues, we have like much more benefits. All that we will in detail study when we uh, come to this chapter. So etc. We have queue management, assets, like we have so much more we will study when we come to orchestrator component. So this is the overview how this orchestrator component works. So basically, I said the centralized web portal, it is the place where we will maintain all the deployed bots, right? But to log into this web portal, you need to have an account created. So that account you can use as the login credentials, as your login credentials. So what is your create? Use your UiPath account. Use your account, UiPath account to log in to Orchestrator. So this UiPath account, when we will create at the time of downloading the, first of all, we will create the UiPath account and then we will download the UiPath community edition. So whenever you create account, that same credentials you can use to log into the Orchestrator component. Right. So this is just overview on Orchestrator. Any questions, Krishna, till now?
No questions. You said we'll come back to all these steps and
Yes, yes.
discuss about them detailed when we get there, right?
Correct. We have a separate chapter orchestrator training. So there we will see individual examples for all these. For
Okay.
all these,
Yeah.
this is just introduction overview. So that is about when we talk about UiPath architecture. It is studying of three components: UiPath Studio Assistant and Orchestrator. This is the overview on the Orchestrator. So now let's come to the UiPath Studio. UiPath Studio is the main client, main development client where we develop the bots. Development client where we develop the bots. Where we develop the bots means automating the workflows. That is called bots, automating the workflows. So you may have sales invoice, you may have purchase invoice, you may have if anything related to booking or any, it can be anything. So it can be in hospital they may use some software. All that data maintained in that particular software, and you want to, there are some, each and every time they need to open the application, they need to manually enter all the data and they need to process all that. You can automate using UiPath. So it is not only like sales invoice, purchase invoice, it can be any business process. If you take IT industry, they need the people used to use some service now for tech support and all. They use some software, service now, like that. So in that service now, suppose if you want to create one ticket, you will have like a lot of fields, you need to enter it manually, right? uh, so those kind of thing can be done using UiPath or UiPath. So where if you provide all the data, then automatically when you run, when you develop the workflow, automatically it will run. It will feed all the data and it will create that ticket and it will send the email also automatically. All that can be automated using UiPath Studio. So um, it's a development client where we develop the bots. Basically, we will automate the workflows. So this development client, when where you can see this development client means after installing UiPath Community Edition, after installing UiPath Community Edition, you can find this component in the installation folder path. Installation folder path. So where you install, there you can find this component, UiPath Studio component. So for example, in my system, it is here. See, or you can find one thing. This way, once the UiPath installed, you can find that UiPath when you type UiPath in the Windows search bars, the UiPath Studio app will come. So this is after installation only you will be able to find this app. When you right click this one and when you give open file location, Again it goes to the shortcut. Again you need to give the, this is not the original location because this is the shortcut. Again you need to right click and give the properties and click on open file location. So this is where the UiPath Studio got installed. What is your installation path? This is your installation path. This is your installation path. So in my system, it is, my username is Ram. So in your system, this may be different. You may have your username here. So in that, then there will be app data folder, local programs, UiPath. Under that, it will be Studio. All once the UiPath Studio installed, these folders will get created, and there you can find your UiPath Studio component. So that is basically this one, UiPath.studio. This is the actual UiPath Studio component development client. So if you see the file type, application, UiPath.studio, studio. This one is UiPath.studio. This is application. So .exe, application means always exe file, right? So this is what, when you double click this, the UiPath will open. UiPath Studio component will open. UiPath Studio component is nothing but the actual UiPath Studio. So where we can use that as some IDE, and we can develop our uh, we can automate our business workflows. So now it is loading the UiPath. Okay, so let's come to this, let it load. That is about UiPath Studio. After installation only you will be able to see this one. And then what is and why we use a development client? If you want to design any workflow, if you want to automate any workflow, then you need to have this client, UiPath Studio client. After that, you designed for example, I prepared some sales invoice, I done with my automation. When you want to run and see how it works, then that is called executor component. If you want to run that, whatever you have, the bot you have developed, if you want to run that, you need to have this UiPath assistant, that is called UiPath Studio, I mean UiPath robo component. So it is the executor component, is the executor component which runs the bots. You don't have this, somehow this UiPath robo is corrupted, though you develop the workflow, you cannot run it basically. So again, this component is also one exe file only, so that also you can find it in the same folder path. You can find this component, you can find this component in the UiPath installation folder path, the UiPath installation folder path. So what is the UiPath installation folder path? It's the above one only, right? So let us check where is this component exists. Come to the component. Here you can see, here you will see UiPath assistant. So go there, and then here you will see your executor component. So directly you will not see the benefit of this. Suppose if you corrupted it, if it is corrupted, then you will see the real dependency on this. So it won't run your bot itself. So that is where this is this is the executor component. The UiPath Studio, where you can design your workflow, but whenever you want to run, you need to have this dependency on this component. So let us take this path. So this is where the UiPath executor component presents. So again, I will, in your system, your username will be different. Same here under studio, under directly UiPath studio component is there, but here on under studio you will have one more folder. Under that you will have this component, that is UiPath.assistant. UiPath.assistant.exe. So this is your executor component. So later we will use this executor component at the time of orchestrator configuration. So I said, whenever you deploy in the UiPath Studio, you develop your workflow. Finally, you will package it and you deploy that to the orchestrator. So before deploying that to the orchestrator, while deploying itself, the you need to configure your robo. So for that robo configuration, you will use this UiPath Studio, I mean UiPath Assistant component. So it has two benefits. One is this is the executor. Whatever you develop in this UiPath Studio component, if you want to execute it, you need this dependency. And whenever you try to deploy your bots into the orchestrator, first of all you need to do the configuration first, uh, from which robo you want to, after deploying, in which robo you want to run it, and everything you need to configure. For that robo configuration also UiPath Assistant is needed. So that is, it has two main benefits. One is it is the executor component, and then it is used in the robo configuration. One is, as we discussed, it is the executor component, and the second one is it is used in the orchestrator robo configuration. So when we do the robo configuration, I will remember this point and I will tell you. So right now we are done with our UiPath Assistant overview. So all this UiPath Assistant and UiPath Studio, when you will see, once UiPath is installed, you will be able to see. Suppose now if you check in your laptop, suppose if you have not installed already, if you go to programs, you will not see this UiPath itself. So when we are going to see this UiPath, that's where we are going to start with UiPath Community Edition installation. So first install we will install UiPath, and then we will start the actual the development and all. So UiPath architecture. Okay. First of all, what we need to do, so just create an account. Create an account in UiPath. First, we are going to create the account, and then we are going to download the UiPath Community Edition. Download the UiPath Community Edition using this account credentials. How we are going to download? that we will see how to download. Anyway, we will see that first how we are going to download it. So you have to how to download, how to create the account, create an account in UiPath. How we are going to create the account in UiPath? Navigate to uipath.com. So let us navigate to uipath.com. Once if you go to this uipath.com site, you will be able to see try UiPath free, sign in. All that you will see sign in under this one, try UiPath free. You can just click on try UiPath free. So the first step, navigate to https uipath.com, and then it is click on try UiPath free. When you click on try UiPath free, first it will ask you to create, either you can use your Google account or you can create here itself a new account. So uh, already sign in, otherwise you continue with email. So when you here you can click continue with email. You can give your email ID and you can to get create a user account. Continue with Google, continue with Microsoft, or you give your own email ID. Maybe you may have some Gmail ID. You can give that email ID and give your password. Set your password. So that password will be used later. So once that is done, you will get an email saying verification or something. That also you can follow that steps whenever you get that email. And after that you can use these credentials, whatever you are going to give the email ID and password, that will be your orchestrator credentials also. So even for downloading the tool also we are going to use this one only. So I'm not going to create new account because I have already created the new account. So that what you can do is, when you if this is the first time, then you create, give your email ID and give your own password and note it down. Later we will use those credentials in orchestrator also. So once this account is created, um, click on try UiPath free and create an account. Once the account is created, use that credentials and log into https platform.uipath.com to download that tool, to download the UiPath Community Edition. UiPath Community Edition. Right. So in my case, I have already done that. So in my case, what I am going to do, I am directly going to after this step, I will go to this https platform.uipath.com. So I already have created my account. That's why I'm directly logging in. So in your case, whatever the email ID and password you are giving there while creating the account, that you need to provide over here. So I provided. So now it is logging into the automation cloud. So this is cloud URL. Basically, it will take to the cloud page actually, the web portal. So it will come to this page, UiPath Automation Cloud. So when you once the account is created, use that credentials and log into prestigious UiPath platform.uipath.com to download the UiPath Community Edition. So when you do that step, it will take you to automation cloud page. When I say automation cloud page, this is the one I'm saying, automation cloud page. So here you have to navigate to this area, download studio. You need not to click download studio. Just scroll down little bit. If you scroll down here, at the bottom you will see one link, resource center. So you need to click this link to download UiPath stable version. So here I will mention it. Navigate navigate to the bottom right side of this page and click on resource center link and click on. So navigated to the bottom right side of this page, click on the resource center link here, click on that. Here you will see downloads page. In that you will see preview community edition, and here you will see stable. So you have to download this stable version actually. Now when you click download, the UiPath will get downloaded. Click on download. I just clicked on download. It is getting downloaded. So this is how you need to download your UiPath Community Edition. So I will mention that as well here. Navigate to the bottom right side of this page and click on resource link. It will take you to the downloads page. Downloads page. Click on the stable tab and download it and download the UiPath. So this is how you need to download the UiPath Community Edition. Once it is downloaded, it will be available in your downloads folder. So suppose if you go to C drive, when you click on this downloads folder, double click on it, you will be able to see your uh, UiPath Studio download over here. Still it is downloading. I'm giving refresh. Still it is downloading. Once it is downloaded, what you need to do, you need to double click on it to install it. After that installation is over, then you will be able to see this whatever we have discussed here. So when you go to this installation folder path, you will be able to see this UiPath Studio.exe. Likewise, you will be able to see UiPath Assistant, and then you are good. So when you want to develop your bot, then you need to double click this UiPath Studio.exe. That's what we did sometime before, right? It will open like this. This is your UiPath main screen, start screen, right? Startup screen. So here you can create process. You can click on process, and you can create. Whenever you click here, this is the new project, because the process under new project, you are going to create new process. So click on process and name. I'm going to name it as hello world. The process name I'm going to name as hello world. And I'm going to, as soon as your UiPath Studio is installed, I said UiPath folder will be created under programs, and these components will be available, I said. Also, it will create one more folder under your documents folder. That is this one. So in your documents folder, I will mention that as well. This is one thing, and also a folder in the name of the path will be created in your documents folder. That is this one. So your username may be different. So there, if you see documents, you will be able to find UiPath folder there. UiPath folder, you will be seeing it. There, whatever you create one process, by default, it will take that location to store your process. That's what I'm trying to say here. And I'm just copying. You can give your own description and the compatibility. Suppose if your application is some old application, you can use Windows Legacy. If it is not old application, it is just new application, then you can use Windows itself. And the language, basically UiPath supports VB and C Sharp, both languages it support. The default one is VB. Then you can click on create. So it takes some time to open it. Let it open. Suppose this UiPath folder, it will be there and under documents. Under that UiPath folder, suppose if you want to create your own folder or anything, you can create. That's under that and all not an issue. So you can store where in whichever location you want to store, you can store. This is the default location, the UiPath points by default. Altogether, if you want to give D drive or wherever you want to create your process, you can give that location there. So that's how the UiPath project is getting created. Let it come. It's taking long time. Let it come. Right. So the project is created. What we gave the name is Hello World. We gave the process name. So in that name, you will be able to see one project tab over here, one activities tab over here. So first point to the project tab. Here you will see your process name got created. That is Hello World. So it is nothing but you are developing a bot in the name of Hello World. So in this bot, what you are going to create, we are going to just display some message. So where that development can happen, you need to double click this main.example. This is called main workflow. Here you will be able to see a tooltip. I mean this one text like drop activity here. So when they say drop activity here, you can point to activities and you can make use of all the UiPath activities which is available under available section. In our introduction of UiPath, in the introduction of RPA also we have seen like UiPath has like 450 plus activities, right? Those activities are present under available. I'm going to take, suppose if you want to display some message, you can take the relevant activity over from here. Also, you can directly search that activity. To display the message, there is a activity called message box. We are going to take that one actually. We are going to search that. Just search for message box. So it comes under available system dialog message box. So you can pull this and drop it over here. So this is how you need to develop your process. So we just did one action. So if you do the sequence of actions, that is called your bot, right? That's your workflow. So here we are going to say hello world. We are going to display this message and type whatever you want to display within double quotation and click somewhere else. This one will go off. This error will go off. Value of the required argument text was not supplied. Yeah, now it is done. It took some time to save it, I think. So now you can click on save all. When you want to run this, you can click on debug file and run. So it is running actually. It is compiling. See, this is the result. It ran and it displays the message hello world. When you give OK, it will come back to the workflow. The run is completed. Right? So just we developed one hello world bot and we ran it. So as I said, this UiPath Studio development client, we double clicked on that UiPath Studio.exe. And suppose if you don't have this, UiPath Assistant folder, then you cannot run this actually. When you go here and click on run, it won't run. That is what UiPath Assistant, we say that as the executor component. That is mandatory. So this is also mandatory. This is also mandatory. So with this, let us close our class today, and tomorrow we will study more about this client. First, we will see the overview on this overview on this UiPath Studio, and then we will start our the next topic.
Okay. Can you
So,
also share the document with me?
yes, Krishna, I will share the document. You just let me know your email ID. I will put that yesterday's that demo class, right? Demo class video. I kept it ready. That is over here, recordings. I will
Okay.
upload yesterday's demo video and today's video. Today's video and whatever we developed this hello world, right? I will also zip it and send it,
Okay.
upload it.
Yeah. I will
So,
paste my email ID in the chat window.
okay, you can text me in the WhatsApp. Okay, you know my WhatsApp number, right?
No, I don't have your WhatsApp number. Can I have your number?
Okay, you can. Anyway, I will ask Gopi to create the group also. No problem. Right now, you can message me in the chat also. Not a problem. I will directly send to you information.
Okay. What's your WhatsApp number?
My number is 9148 393434. Okay. This is your email ID, right? Okay. I will copy
Yeah.
it right away. So let me go to. Okay. So here I will create a folder in your name. Maybe I will create right away. Okay. In this PPT, I will copy this file.
Okay.
I have closed the UiPath. This is the process we created, and we will cut this and keep it in your folder. We will create a folder.
Okay.
I'm just zipping it. You can unzip it. Whenever you download it from the Google Drive, you can unzip and you can open this process in your UiPath.
Okay.
So, so this is the zip file. I'm uploading it. Okay. Process, we developed one process, uploaded it, and recordings. I will upload the yesterday's the demo recording. Okay, this will take some time. Meanwhile, oh yeah, it is uploaded. Now I will give the access to this main folder. This is your email ID. Okay, so now it is done. Only thing is the current recording we need to upload. This will take some time to process. Once the process is completed and video available, then I will upload it to this one, and I will share with you the link also now. This is your link, Krishna. Always on daily basis, whenever you want to download something, just go to this link and you can download the latest stuff and keep it in your local drive. Krishna, can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I said yes.
Okay, fine. So this link you can note it down in your personal file, and
Yeah.
then you can download it. Yeah. Thanks, Krishna. So Tomorrow we will catch up. Tomorrow morning, the same time.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Rama. Have a good day.
Yeah. Thanks, Krishna. Bye.